Benfica Podcast is one of the founding members of Benfica Independent. Benfica Independent is an independent platform made by fans for fans, and in it, you can find our podcast along with many other podcasts, along with articles of opinion, video segments, and much, much more. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/Benfica Independent, with exclusive contents for our patrons.
Hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo. Sí, es un club que tiene una grandeza que no se comprende si no estás aquí dentro.
São de uma magia única, benfiquista, que só nós sentimos assim. Por muitos desgostos que possamos ter, valores mais altos se levantam. E o valor mais alto que se levanta em termos futebolísticos chama-se Benfica.
Quero o Benfica intimidar o adversário. Quero um manto sagrado entrar com vocês em qualquer estado e assustá-los, pá! É isso que eu quero!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Doll Benfica Podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumaças. With me, as always, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Foda-se. Isso querias tu. Infelizmente é o Cristiano Ronaldo Norte. Mais pobrezinho. But nonetheless, I'm glad to be back here on the podcast.
Always.
Always. Got an opportunity to see my beautiful boy over there in the north.
Dave de Oliveira.
Yep.
What's happening, Dave de Oliveira? What's going on?
What's going on, guys? Great to be back. You guys got a special guest there in the room, the instigator, as I like to call him.
He comes on the chat, he throws a couple jokes, and then he leaves.
Yeah, I had to do my good deed for the week and let the homeless in, and we decided to let them into the podcast today.
From the chat room into the studio room, P.Ferreira.
What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing out there? Thanks for having me, Chris and Alfred.
Of course.
Always a pleasure. And Dave up in Canada. Thank you.
Yeah. Here we are. Full house tonight.
Before we start.
Go ahead.
Are the stars aligned?
Nameless user is here. That's all we care about.
That's what's up. Nameless. Make it boys. Are the stars correct? They're good, right?
I think so.
I don't want to. They're a little.
But that may be from the camera angle.
It's the camera. We'll just blame it on the camera angle.
We blame it on the camera angle.
Listen, want to say what's up first of all.
The sound is good. Everybody confirmed that the sound is good this week.
Boris, Red Baron, Alfred. Oh, that's you. Bob the Builder, Sheik Marcelino, Rain and Entertain, Nameless User.
Builder's here. Holy shit! We haven't seen Bob the Builder in a while.
Welcome. There's Bob the Builder, and on Instagram we got one of these guys. That's the machine operator. I don't know, so he puts
Escavadora.
The Escavadora, yeah. And he posts videos of that. So
Eduardo Escavador.
we have the best followers in the world. So
You really do.
thank you.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome. How's everybody been? Good. We're almost at the end of January. Can you believe we're almost at the end of January? I can't wait for January to be over for this transfer window to finally shut down.
Just want to say
Go ahead. Say something.
We got the go ahead from Nameless User and Sheik Marcelino. The sound is good today.
Sound is good.
Congratulations,
Awesome.
Alfred. Finally got the production thing right.
Well, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So.
Did Dave speak yet? Hugo interrupted him, right?
Dave spoke.
Oh, he did.
No, I'm good. Like I said, I'm sitting back and relaxing today. I'm ready for the fireworks.
Right. We got dois falaborados aqui. So Dave, you don't need to speak today. Between Hugo and Chris, you got content covered. That's right.
No comment.
Here come the Valadão brothers.
The Valadão brothers.
Or cousins or primos, whatever they are.
Manny?
15-degree angle. Opa, close enough. Olha aí. Now
Yeah.
there's angles 58. Them's leash. Hey, this is getting too.
It's a small studio, so we kind of had to do a couple things just to make sure that everybody fits in.
It's bigger than a jail cell.
Right? I don't know. I've never
It's like
been in
two
a
of them.
jail cell.
It's like two of them.
I couldn't
Me
tell
neither.
you.
I saw it in Alcatraz.
You saw it
I
in
saw the
Alcatraz?
movie The Rock.
The Rock?
Remember, that was a great movie.
That was a great movie?
The Young Bucks are like the
With The Rock featuring The Rock, or it was just The Rock?
No, it was that dude.
Before The Rock. Nick Cage?
Nicolas Cage and the old dude that used to be 007. I'm talking about, Dave.
The Scottish.
Yeah.
Brosnan?
No, before that.
007.
007 before that.
Sir Mix-a-Lot.
You had me going at first with the sir.
No, he was a sir.
I know, but that's why I'm like, sir, and they like mix a lot.
I don't remember his name.
I like big butts, and I can't not. Who's this?
DJ Natural Fires.
He knows
here.
about
Welcome.
Sir Mix-a-Lot DJ. That's so it.
DJ Natural Fires. Everybody's here. We're so happy that everybody's able to join us every week. We hope you're doing well. We're almost at the end of January.
Sean Connery.
Sir Sean Connery.
Is he a sir? So he got knighted?
He is a sir. He got knighted. Even
That's
though
like
he's
when they
Scottish.
put the sword over both of your shoulders and act like they. I'd be very nervous.
And he kneels.
Because back in the days, them kings would trick you. It's kind of like the mob. When you go sit in the front row, in the front, you shoot. When you're sitting shotgun, you're getting whacked. Right? Back in the days, like, we're gonna knight you, and then they chop your head off. It must have been nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Think they do that nowadays?
Only on Game of Thrones.
Only, okay.
They'll do that on Game of Thrones sometimes.
No, I'm glad that everybody that's listening.
Everybody, we're happy that everybody's here. Obviously, we're waiting a little bit until everybody joins us, but episode 471 is what we're up to.
Everybody's here. Minus our producer.
Our producer.
Our freak producer.
Our producer.
That never shows up.
Oshkes. Not a
Has he been here
non-producer.
this season?
Non-present producer.
Hey, DJ saying we had a tornado warning, so everybody had to leave work. Hey,
where's this at?
in his hometown, he says.
His hometown? Could be
Where's
anywhere.
that?
Hometown, USA.
Wow. Thanks. Well, thanks to the tornado, we got a new listener. Not Lou, but a loyal one.
Natural Fire's been here
Yes,
before.
yes.
So thank you everybody for joining us. Episode 471. We'll look back at the Santa Clara game, and we'll look ahead to P.Ferreira, which is a game that Benfica is moving up. A game that's part of the 20th round, but Benfica is moving up because of the Champions League play that's just around the corner. And we'll recap the podcast by talking about the ins and outs. There's been some moves. I don't think we were here last time when Gedge got confirmed, right? Gedge just got confirmed.
He was
Gedge
confirmed
came in on Thursday. Yeah, we were
That's
here
right.
Wednesday.
But there was a strong possibility that he might have joined the team on Tuesday, right?
To give you credit. I think
You want to give me credit? Holy moly.
I'm not even drunk. But I think right towards the end, right, Dave? Right at the end of the recording, you might have mentioned something about Gedge to Benfica, and I said, forget about him.
The Capas.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you might have mentioned something. And I said, man, forget about that. That's too good to be true. Or something along those lines. I'm pretty sure the guys that are listening and watching right now will recall. But I said something along those lines. And then I left and I went upstairs and I saw, wait a minute. This is where Alfredo stole it from. But to your credit, he did come. So
I don't know. Your homeboy Rupert Braz, man, he's doing some work, man.
that dude's phenomenal.
Agente implacável.
That dude picks him up and even sends him away.
Nunca me enganou.
You don't even see that guy. You know the guy that used to pick him up at the airport? You don't even see that guy anymore. It's just Braz, just clearing away, opening up the crowd.
We're gonna get right into the Gedge before anything else.
We can.
Well, look, I was on Thursday. I was watching, as most of you guys were as well, watching with anticipation his arrival in avião privado, and my man's coming in on the second floor. Like the rest of us, gotta walk.
The second floor at
we
the
gotta
airport.
take a bus.
At the Portela?
Yeah, so he's at the second floor, and then he arrives like a boss with 3 chicks around him, like a boss. And then Rupert sends him away, and then the two of them walked into his Mercedes.
Sends the girls away?
So what happened to the girls?
I think the girls maybe they were.
No, they were with
behind.
Gonzalo.
They were with him?
They were clearly with him.
Yeah.
They were, if not, they were big soccer fans because all 3 of them like right around.
Yeah, I think.
Dave, did you watch that video? Do you recall what I'm talking about?
I didn't, but let me see if I can find it.
I follow his girlfriend on.
I don't know
on
if it was his
Instagram.
girlfriend. It was 3 of them.
Probably his girlfriend and a couple of his sisters.
I know it was 3. And Rupert Braz said something to them, like, and they and then, I'm like, that was the best part.
You know, he's. I told you where he's from, right? That place where we went to eat, Samora Correa.
He's from Benevento.
Samora Correa.
No, Benevento.
He's from Samora Correa.
The newspapers say Benevento.
Samora Correa is by me.
Yes.
No, Benevento's by you. It's where your dad's from.
Samora Correa is in between us and Benevento. My dad is from
It's not by
Benevento.
you, bro. Stop.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Samora
it's
Correa
Vila
is by Vila
Francachira.
Francachira.
Yeah.
It's on the opposite side of the river, though.
This guy don't know what he's talking about.
No.
Wait, Benevento is nowhere near Vila Francachira.
Yeah, it is.
Benevento is Alentejo, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
Exactly.
man.
It's on the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
side of the
No, it's
Alentejo.
not.
Yes, Benevento is
No, it's
Alentejo.
not.
I'm almost positive.
Pra vocês,
Brinques, pá.
you guys don't know
brinques.
your
Ó, Chico,
geography.
Temos de dar uma aula de geografia
ó,
aqui.
Chico, já sabes que a geografia não é...
You guys don't know your geography.
Chico.
Há Benevento no Alentejo. Agora
Não,
sei
há
esse.
Benevento, há
That's the one we're
Benevento.
talking
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking
No,
about.
dude. It's Alcochete, Samora Correia, Benevento. And then
On
Vila
one side of the
Francachira.
river, in Vila Francachira.
No. Vai ver o mapa. Olha.
Pergunta aí ao Chico.
He's saying they're looking like
Looking
Gonçalo
at
Ramos.
Ramos. Yeah, no, Benevento is after Samora Correia. I know because my dad is from Benevento.
I know. I've been
That
there.
store where we're
Where
at
your uncle-
is
I know.
Benevento.
I've been there.
So it's not in Alentejo.
To me, anything above us, not on the other
And
side of the
north, and
river,
north.
is Alentejo.
É norte.
Okay? Aquilo é distrito de Santarém.
Well,
Diz
wait,
aqui o
Chris,
grande
you're,
Chico Marcelino.
you have many towns in
We
Portugal.
were going to talk about
multi-talent.
we were going to talk about Street Santarém. That's right. We were
What's
going to
Santarém? It's
Huh?
Portugal. Told you.
to Portugal. We were going to talk about Gonçalo Guedes. You guys want to
Benevento.
let's go. You go. What do you think, man?
I loved it. Thrilled. I didn't see it coming. I had commented on it with Chris earlier in the morning, and we were both of the consensus that not happening. It was more of a pipe dream. And hours later, like like Chris was saying, there we see Pedro Raj coming out with him at the airport. And it's almost like a staple now of every Benfica signing is you always see Pedro Raj coming out.
It's awesome.
It. Hey, Chris here is my witness. I never doubted him from day one. Right, Chris?
Yeah.
I want the other guy back.
Which
Because
guy?
the other guy, the old man. Because when the old man went, I think that was the dude on Ser Benfiquista. Ever since he stopped going, the leak stopped coming
Talking
in.
about who? Fire Eagle?
Yeah, the Fire Eagle.
There you go, yeah. Now it's Quill.
He used to go on Ser Benfiquista that said, rumor is this guy is
Hoje,
coming.
no
And then
aeroporto, voo 204 de Newark.
two hours later, it'll be him
They track
walking out.
flights. They do all kinds of crazy shit on that forum.
Walking out.
Yeah, there it is. David de Oliveira, clip of Geds with 3 girls at the airport. Yeah, they arrived together, all 3 of them.
There you go.
And then Rupert Bras said something and took them, and just the 2 of them went into his little coupe, Mercedes coupe, and I don't know what the chicks went.
2-seater?
No, it's 2-door, but yeah, they got seats in the back.
I know what you're saying.
But yeah, it was good to look. Let's be honest. Gonçalo Guedes is a terrific signing. It's getting late into the transfer window. We've beaten this horse to a pulp. I've constantly come on here and criticized the lack of options on this Benfica squad. They have done a magnificent job, whether it's Rui Pedro Braz, Rui Costa, whoever it may be. You know who I think the guy behind this all is? My boy Coelho. When he was there before, he's tremendous. He left. Benfica's acquisitions dipped in form, and he's back, and all of a sudden it seems like they're getting these things back together. I think that's the guy that really, at the end of the day, is the guy that we should be patting on the back. But nonetheless, getting back to Gonçalo Guedes, as I mentioned on last week's podcast, once again, we signed the 2 kids, Charles Drup and Gangsta, from
Langston.
wherever they came from, somewhere over
One
there.
came
in
from
Vikings.
Norway, one came from Denmark.
Okay. And I said at the time, odds are that one, if not both of these kids, is going to take a little bit of time adapting, right? It's a step up in competition, and we have to be realistic. And even if I try to play nice and I say, okay, one of the 2 is really going to hit the ground running and the other one's going to struggle, Gonçalo Guedes gives you the luxury of not really putting too much pressure on these kids, because let's say the striker is the one that hits the ground running. Gonçalo Guedes is an option at wing, and now the kid Sheldrup has a little bit more time to develop. And if it's vice versa, the winger adapts. Guedes is obviously a guy that can play up top as well. So I thought this was a perfect signing, a guy that knows the house, a guy that knows Portugal. It's not going to take any time adapting. And as we saw, he played in the very next game, and we'll get into that in a second. But he hit the ground running, and it's important. And I think, again, it's one of those guys, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Perfect signing by Benfica. Great job by them. And at the end of the day, great job by Gonçalo by wanting to come back to Portugal. I understand he wasn't playing a lot over there at Wolverhampton. He was having a little bit difficult time adapting. But nonetheless, he still had to want to come back, and he did. And congratulations to everybody for making this work. So I'm ecstatic that he came. I'm ecstatic that he's part of our roster.
Yeah, but Hugo, I think that if it wasn't for the George Men's connection, maybe you don't make this move, or you couldn't make this move happen. What do you think?
I agree with that. I think it fell at perfect time. I mean, Chris pretty much summarized everything, all of my thoughts as well. But again, I think there's a play there to be made potentially down the line. I don't think we're talking about a club that just paid. Correct me if I'm wrong. 40 million euros a few months ago
for him. Yeah,
for Gonçalo Ramos, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
So I think there might be a play there to maybe try and connect with Rams in the summer. I don't know, man. It's just the way it fell on our lap is a little fishy to me. Now, with that said, I mean, I'll take it. I love the signing, and like Chris said, we're talking about a player that can play every position from midfield forward.
Of the four attacking positions.
And Roger Schmidt, if you guys paid attention to his presser prior to the Santa Clara game, he mentioned exactly that. He summarized the signing exactly, stating that it's a very versatile. First of all, he said it's a top player, and then he said he's a very versatile player. So,
then after the game,
you needed Roger Schmidt to tell you that.
No, I didn't need Roger Schmidt to tell you that, but it's just icing on the cake.
But after the game, when he was asked about Gonçalo Guedes. Now I got to be careful.
We're
with
meeting
these
a
things.
quarter of Gonçalo.
We're all mixing the Gonçalves now.
When he spoke about Guedes, he said that he only did one practice session, but in a practice session he already showed a lot of motivation, a lot of drive. He's in it. He's committed.
Well, that's the thing when you talk about how difficult it is at times to acquire players in the January transfer window. Well, the reverse effect of it is also when you do acquire them, these guys are in the middle of the season. Doesn't take a lot of time for these guys to get in shape.
Right.
Because they're constantly practicing. And Gonçalo Guedes, that is, wasn't pushed to the side. He was part of the squad. He was practicing the squad. So my man was in tip-top shape, but just switching teams, switching uniforms, and, let's go. Let's get it going. So that's the one positive, obviously, from making these types of transfers here in January.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, Chris, the fact that he knows the house, he knows Seychelles inside out, it also helps with his transition, right? Because he's not stepping into a place where he's got to learn the law of the land, right? He already knows.
I came back home, bro. Like he said it himself. He was nervous.
You're nervous.
But I think it was nervous of playing at Benfica again. It wasn't the nerves that he probably felt going to Wolverhampton, the nerves of having to prove that he's worthy. I think coming home, he's comfortable. It was just nervous because he loves the club. It's two different types of nerves.
Yeah.
And you could tell the dude did his thing.
You're right. But when you look at a guy like Gonçalo Ramos, a guy that's played, he's played at the biggest stages in La Liga, right? For
Ramos gets.
Shit.
Gonçalo Ramos ain't go there yet.
Guedes.
Are you saying you know something that we don't know?
I don't know.
No? Okay, just making sure.
When you talk about Guedes, and when he's played at the biggest stages in Europe, right? La Liga, England, and
scored the game-winning Nations League goal for Portugal.
That's right.
Don't forget.
That's right. And the fact that he actually said that he was nervous to come back to Benfica and to play in that game, that says a lot about how he feels about the club and what he also thinks about what the expectations are.
My man didn't even shave. You seen him at the airport? He didn't even shave. And then the next day, he kind of trimmed.
There was no time to shave. That's how quick.
With them three girls, he had no time to shave and pack.
Now, let's, I know that we veered a little bit off topic.
Dave, what do you think about Gonçalo Guedes?
He loves
arrival.
I mean, the whole transfer with Guedes, Sheldrup, and Gangster, as you want to call him.
Thanks.
This is a completely different January transfer window that we've seen from Benfica. I mentioned it last week. We've been so used to selling off in January and not really enforcing the squad, but it's a great. It's great to actually be adding and rather than subtracting to this team, and I think we got to just give some praises to Rui and the rest of the club's board here, because they're actually making some investments to the squad, and I guess that draw against Club Brugge probably has something to do with it, and really wanting to go far in the Champions League and get some return on the investment. But well done to the club for investing rather than subtracting here in January so far. And if they can what do we have here? About 6-7 days before the end of the transfer window. Hold on to Enzo, and I would be more than happy to give this an A+.
Yeah, there was another piece of news today that came out that that Chelsea was going to make another go at Enzo, and Benfica came out today and said that he's not going for less than a clause. So if you don't have the money, then you don't get the honey.
Listen, that was a good one. Just let me read off a couple of comments here. Chico Marcelin says the girls went to the party Gilberto was throwing. That was João Mario's birthday.
Was it Gilberto or Dani Alves?
No, for that party. Nem brinco com isso.
Morreu.
Red Baron says, I have a feeling this is just the beginning of ex-Benfica players coming back. Man, from your mouth to God's ears, but too good to be true. I mean, I believe in fairy tales, but not this one.
Even though I'm not too happy about Bernardo Silva's comment, but go ahead.
Reigning Entertainment says, we went from using Champions League as a display case to actually competing. It's absolutely lovely.
Yeah,
100%.
Of course it is.
I mean, just go back and play the podcast from years past when I screamed and hollered that Benfica should always build a roster to anticipate being at this stage of the Champions League.
Yeah.
In case they are, then they're prepared. As opposed to building a squad, as we saw in years past when Orelha sold Ederson, sold Smidu, sold a couple more Lindelof, and there was another one. I believe there was 4 Mitroglou, 4 important pieces that came off that roster, and then basically reinforced the squad with Tomas. What's his name?
Tomas
Tavares. Who, by the way, was announced today in Russia. Goes to show you how lovely things are going, that he's going to Russia. I don't know if I'd want to go to Russia at this point. Nothing against my Russian lovely people, but I don't know if I want to be playing there. And so it's totally opposite of what we're accustomed to seeing. As Dave said, those are some great points. See, that's why you got to talk more.
Yeah, but you know that not every year can we have this level of investment, right? Because we're still a selling club. We're still a club that depends on selling in order to balance our books. But I do realize that this is a change. This is a change of mentality in terms of the leadership. We're no longer buying the Salvador Agras of the world, the Yanni Gonzalez of the world, to make some commission, and guys that never put on a Benfica jersey. We're actually buying with intent. And that's probably something, not probably, that's something that we haven't seen in a long time, right? With the exception of the election year, where we just splurged.
Hey, on that splurge, we got Darwin Nunez and $100 million for him, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
And we got, what's his name, Cebolinha, who we got Neres for. So, I mean, look, there's some positives.
Yeah, it's like the butterfly effect.
Butterfly effect.
Let's get into this Santa Clara game. Benfica traveled to the beautiful, lovely Azores Islands, where pitches are drained properly.
No rain this time. It's phenomenal.
Contrary to what what Cristiano says. Beautiful pitch there. Benfica lined up with Vlaco Dimos in goal, Silva, Murato, and Grimaldo, with Otamendi serving as fifth yellow card suspension. Tino and Enzo in the middle. João Mario, Draxler, Hausnes, and Ramos. I'll ask Hugo. Hugo, do you feel that that Draxler is getting his last chances?
I'll say this. I thought that from Julian, I thought this was one of his better, if not his best performance so far in a Benfica jersey. Now, with that said, it's still way below the level I personally expected, and I'm sure I speak for the whole group here and the Freddies in the chat. I think Draxler is gonna have a harder time now to see the squad. You factor in Gedge coming here, so he's probably gonna be that not that first time. Gedge is gonna start. There's no doubt in my mind. And then if these kids pan out, like Andreas and Casper, I don't know, man. I definitely think so, to answer your question off of this. But I will say this: I thought that he had one of his best outings, if not his best outing, in a Benfica jersey, and especially on that participation on that third goal. I mean, that was a brilliant little flick there to Enzo, and then Getch capped that one off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my take on it.
It's a shame. It's a shame because I know both Cristiano and I had huge expectations for Draxler and what he could add to this team once he got going, because he came off a long absence, a long period where he didn't play off of a major injury, and we kind of felt that he needed a little bit of time to get back into the rhythm. But the biggest thing is that I watched Draxler. The touch is there, but it just seems like the speed. He's playing at a different speed.
Well, I guess
Falta intensidad.
That's what I was going to say. It's not the speed, it's intensity. The dude is look. It seems like when you're watching Draxler, when you saw Draxler in years past, and you watch Draxler now at Benfica, it seems like my man's checked out.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like. Seems like estou aqui because tenho que estar aqui, and all right, I get to this ball. There's no intense. I don't know if he lost his confidence. Obviously, I'm pretty sure his confidence got to be shattered because of the long, pause in his career due to injury. But at the same time, you gotta want
to show something.
Yeah, you gotta want to be better. You gotta want to improve, and it seems like he's not trying hard enough. Maybe he is. We don't know. But it just does not look like the same guy we all expected at Benfica. And obviously, that's still got to be weighing on his mind. And Roger Schmidt is trying to play him. I know I said last week after the Sporting match, which was, if you can't use him for these big matches, why is he even here? And now, look, we understand, like Hugo said, it was one of his better performances at Benfica. But let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, for Christ, this is Santa Clara. Okay,
but he's gotten more
I know,
chances.
I understand. But if he couldn't perform against Santa Clara,
I
mean, who's he going to perform against? Now, looking at this lineup, to be brutally honest with you, at first I was not excited about it.
I thought that Auschwitz was going to play behind Ramos, so I got excited.
No, because I look at this lineup and again, the competition was there to be had, but you're looking at Arsenal on one wing, João Mario. Neither of these guys have the ability to beat anybody one-on-one. And Benfica, even though they played a very good first half, at times they did have a difficult time breaking down the opposition. And look, it's Santa Clara. It's a game that Benfica, all they had to do is just get through it and get the 3 points, come away, unscathed, right, without any major injury. And that's exactly what they did. But I'm hoping with the Guedes that are swirled, Neres coming back to form with Schaldrup, I'm hoping that now we're finally going to have to see, start seeing some Ginga on the wings. Not saying that those guys are bad players. I absolutely love them. Even João Mario, this season's been spectacular. And Hugo said something a while ago I'm surprised you didn't ask him about when he said he absolutely expects Guedes to start. I do as well, but I guess the one that's going to drop off, it's got to be João Mario. Who's he going to take off the top of the starting 11?
Well, that all depends.
Good headache.
It is. Depends on how Neres is doing. Depends if Rafa's healthy, because we heard Rafa's out for 4 weeks? At least
no,
a month.
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. He should be back for the Braga game.
So I mean, look, I think it's a good problem to have. You have options. You're not throwing Diogo Gonçalves in there. You're not throwing.
Well, he's at Copenhagen, so no, I'm joking.
No, he is. But what I'm saying is, like, now you don't look at the bench and say, "Fuck, who am I going to put in there?"
Yeah.
I mean, guys, just think about it. We could throw out there in the starting 11 a combination of Rafa, Guedes, Neres. I mean,
and then Peter Musa.
That's for
no gangster.
That's a fantastic trio that we could put on the pitch.
Absolutely,
I mean, worthy of a Benfica.
Yeah, it's guys with explosiveness, guys that like to play vertical, and when you have guys like that with that type of ability, it's hard to defend.
Yeah,
because you got three guys, you got a 3-prong attack that could create you problems.
4, because Gonçalo Ramos. You know how I feel about the guy, but
he puts the ball in.
But forget
the back
about
of
that.
The net, bro.
The fact is, you don't know where I was going.
Well, where are you going?
The fact is that the guy don't stop, so he's also someone that creates a crazy matchup problem. So therefore, you can't just say the three of them. Gonçalo Ramos gets thrown into it because of his movement, which is the one thing I've always raved about, is that the guy's work ethic is second to none. He doesn't stop. He's everywhere on the field. And due to that movement, he gets to a lot of balls that were like, wow, how the hell did he even get that? And it turns it into a scoring opportunity. But when you mention those three, the Guedes, the Rafas, and the Neres, and then you throw in Gonçalo Ramos, those 4 guys up top could interchange with one another. It's going to be a headache.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I was getting to.
Even if you have Ramos opening up spaces for these guys to get into, lanes, passing lanes. Look, I think that there's a lot to be excited about, especially if Neres is healthy and Neres is on.
Red Baron says you don't have to throw Brooks as a striker. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a phenomenal point.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great.
Pedro Arresta says...
Has the club said anything about a timeline for when these new kids are supposed to be up and ready? Because I know they weren't called up to this match day squad.
No,
they haven't played since November,
I heard
right?
they've been registered, but Roger Schmidt said they were going through.
I think I heard
pre-season.
something like 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
It's possible.
That's what Schmidt said in a presser.
Yeah,
That's
that makes
what I
sense.
heard.
That makes sense.
So are they playing in the B team in the meantime? They
No,
should be.
they can't play. They're not. They don't have game rhythm.
But how are they going to get it?
How do you? Yeah,
Little by little.
I would
Little by
The
little.
B
I
team
would
certainly
look
could
at it.
use it.
That's what I'm saying. Put them on the B.
I don't know. It's
they'll be
possible.
if-
We've seen guys on the B team before.
If your goal is to get game rhythm, what you're gonna try game rhythm in games that matter on the first team? No,
I
absolutely.
don't see why not.
But you introduced them little by little in
But
games.
you can't do both.
Hold on, but you introduced them little by little in games that are already resolved.
So you're gonna go into
Couple
a
lead,
game.
2-goal
so
lead,
Vice,
3-goal lead.
You're gonna keep.
Right now, perfect example. Se estivesse no banco lá nos Açores, it would have been a good
Mas
time.
vai estar sempre a convocar estes gajos. Já espera que estás a ganhar 3-0. E se não estás a ganhar 3-0, nunca jogam.
Eles fazem parte do plantel now. They're part of. They're going to
And
be
playing
part
on
of the
the B.
squad.
And I didn't say go to the B team and sit there. This ain't
No,
the
I
Rangers
know
in
what you-
Hartford. You're not away from your team. You're just playing that game. If they got a game midweek and if they got a game on a weekend, they play the game. They need look at the end of the day. These kids are still young kids and they need game time. So I'm not opposed to them going to the B team. Now, if it interferes with the first squad, okay, obviously.
You got a bunch of custodians in the second league. You got to be careful, dude.
Well, get used to it, baby.
Yeah.
They got
So Benfica getting on the board quickly in the 9th minute. Auschnitz from an Enzo cross, beautiful cross. Auschnitz putting it away, and then 7 minutes later, Ramush with a tap in from a Grimaldo assist. 2-0, dominating first half by Benfica. There was a little bit of a slowdown by Benfica, perhaps around the 30th, 35th minute. Santa Clara was able to come out of their own half, but Benfica shut it down, and I think they finished the half with a very good opportunity, and it could have very well been 3-0 at the end of the half. The second half, we expected what Benfica came to do: manage the game, lowered a little bit of the intensity, wasn't pressing as high. Even Roger Schmidt in his post-game presser said that there was a little bit of a let-up by the team, and the team needs to continue to be focused and continue to be intense. But he did understand that there was a little bit of a let-up. But other than that, some substitutions. Neres in for Auschnitz, Chiquinho for Florentino, Gedge for João Mário. Auschnitz already with a yellow card, so I understand them saving him. Florentino, there's a lot of games ahead. Not that the kid gets tired, but certainly want to give him a rest. And then Gedge for João Mário. And look, it was good to see Gedge. It was certainly very good to see Gedge in the game. Seeing Gedge, as you mentioned, he was nervous. Getting that goal, I think that getting that goal lifts a huge weight off his shoulders, because now he doesn't have the pressure of, okay, I went to Spain, I'm playing in England, I'm coming back, the fans expect a lot from me, I've evolved as a player, and to have that pressure of getting that goal, of making an impact for this team, a team that he cherished so much, was going to weigh in on his psyche. So the fact that he got that goal out of the way and he was able to get that pressure off his shoulders, I think he couldn't have asked for a better start from Gedge for his second spell at Benfica. O que é que o pessoal está aí a dizer?
Yeah, Vespers Wheelie hey guys, women's team won my heart. Red Baron, I guess, is agreeing with me in terms of sending the two new signings to the B team if need be. He says Lucas and Morato they played on the B team until they got some game rhythm. So
even Pinho played on the B team.
absolutely. Red Baron says the same
Those
thing
are
once
after
again.
long-term injuries, guys.
Yeah, but
What's the
it doesn't
difference?
matter.
You don't got game rhythm. What's the difference?
The game rhythm. I think the B team is perfect.
What's the
for game
difference, Hugo?
rhythm.
I don't know. I just don't see these kids being dropped to
I didn't say
the B
dropped.
team. No,
They're not getting
know,
dropped.
I know what you're. I'm just saying. I don't see these kids getting minutes in the B team.
But look at it this
We'll
way,
see.
right? Between between not making the roster, the game roster, right? Because there's other guys that are in better shape than you, and getting 30 minutes in a B team, which one would you rather be if you were one of them?
Whether we like to admit it or not, there is going to be an adjustment period for these guys. That's 100%. A fact.
Without a doubt.
That's a fact. And so, again, you're better off throwing them into the deep end with the B team just so they could get their feet wet, man. That's it. Nobody, I'm not talking about they're going to play 4 games, but if they got to play a game or 2 in order for them to get their rhythm back, I don't think there's anything wrong. And we're talking about an 18-year-old. We're not talking about a 35-year-old. We're talking about an 18-year-old that is going to be to take some time getting adjusted to the Portuguese competition. Say what you want. He looks phenomenal on his YouTube videos, but playing in Portugal is a totally different beast. It's a gritty league, a league that does a bunch of bullshit, ticky-tack fouls. It's going to take him a little bit of time to get adjusted. I just think it makes a whole lot of sense to give the kids some minutes, get their legs running once again, right? Get these guys moving, get them to feel what it feels like to play a game again, and it's outside of their country, right? It's a new experience for them. Why the hell now you got nothing to lose?
Yeah, I agree
and then
with
you bring it back on the weekend. What's the problem?
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I just don't think from what I've been hearing from Roger Schmidt and stuff like that, I just don't think he's going to do it. But I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I think it makes sense, but I don't see it happening. But we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah. No, I look, I think that I think it makes perfect sense to do something like that. And I think that Roger Schmidt is the guy to do that type of stuff because we've seen him before. So I don't know. I think it would be good for those guys to get game rhythm in the B, at the same time help out the B because the B is not doing all that great.
Let me ask you guys a question, and this
ask us a question.
And this I don't know for a fact, right? But I'm gonna ask you guys and the Freddies and everyone listening to this, watching this. You guys feel free to answer. But I have a question. You just said, Hugo says he doesn't think it's Roger Schmidt. You just alluded to it. It's not Roger Schmidt. But the question I have is Roger Schmidt making a decision on when these guys are ready to go, or is it on the trainers?
I think it falls on the technical staff.
I think it falls. I'm asking. I think it most likely falls on the training staff. And when the training staff's Roger, they're ready to go. Then they free them to Roger, right?
I think.
Okay. So if let's just say we go by that line of structure, right? We go by that. Maybe they say, Roger, they're not ready. Give these guys some minutes on the B team. Now the decision is out of Roger's hands. I'm just asking.
Yeah,
I'm throwing a hypothetical out there, right? But I don't think Roger's going to be like, the guys are ready. Obviously, he's going to have a say in the decision. But before, it's kind of like cooking at a restaurant. Before the lobster gets to the chef, there's a bunch of guys preparing it along the line, right? And the training staff is going to say, look, these guys are ready to go, or they're not ready to go. We think they need some minutes here, or they need another week of training. I think it's going to fall. I don't think it's just going to be solely a Roger Schmidt decision.
I just think that the minutes in the A team are going to be very hard to come by. And like you said, you're gonna get them on the game roster, and then what? To play 5 minutes, 10 minutes in a game? That's not enough game rhythm to get.
Well, Alfred, let me ask you: would you play him only 5 minutes at this Santa Clara game? We went up 3-0 in what minute? Dave, help us out.
Yeah, it was 3-0 in 80th minute.
The 80th minute. Okay. Yep. I thought it was a little bit early, but even then, I mean, the game was pretty much under control.
It was under control,
right? Two subs in the 82nd minute and the 90th minute.
That's what I was going to say.
But that also tells you that the lack of depth, right?
What's 10 minutes going to do for you?
But the decision the subs that he made that changed the game was Gets coming in. Those are the subs. Yeah. So those subs are earlier. Right? So forget about the other subs. Yeah. The important subs, the ones that needed to change the game because Benfica in the second half had clearly lost the step. Motivation, whatever it was, Benfica was kind of like falling asleep. And so once they bring in Guedes and they bring in Neres and whatever, I think it was 3 players at once, right?
Neres, Chiquinho, and Guedes.
That kind of changed the game a little bit. So that means the other 2 kids weren't coming in. And then once the game is out of hand, like you're going to bring them in just to bring them in. If they are not close to 100%, now, if they're close to 100%, whatever. But if they're not even there yet, which they've alluded to, that these kids aren't ready, it's going to take some weeks.
It's gonna take some time to ease them in. I agree with you guys, but I expect these guys in a couple of weeks' time because again, Schmidt set the precedent right at the beginning. He said it. He said it flat out. It's going to take him 3 weeks, I believe, is what he said. but then I expect them to be on the 18-man roster.
To the mic, bro.
Sorry. I expect them to be on the 18-man roster going forward.
Sheikh
that's what I
Muslim
think's gonna
says,
happen.
all you need to do is explain to these kids that they're going to gain Kalu at the B team. If they respond in a positive way, it will be a good signal about their character and professionalism. I mean, listen, I don't have to repeat that. I completely agree. Reigning Entertainment says, Chef Cristiano cooking up a Título Nacional. Pedro Aresta. Pedro, what's up, bro? Miss you. Got to come to the studio one of these days. You could join us here.
Man.
We'll kick this guy out and bring you in. Could it be that the B team could have a demoralization effect on these young boys? Come on, man. I don't think these guys are prima donnas,
If it's
bro.
with the,
I understand what he's trying to say, because if you look at Sheldrup, right, he's coming from being the leading scorer in Denmark. Now I know the Danish league is if I call it a B level league, I'm being a little generous there, but they've got some teams. Look at Michelin, right, that we saw, that's played in the Champions League. Brøndby's played in the Champions League. It's not a complete piss away league, and he's been dominating that league. So I see what Pedro's saying, and I kind of agree with him.
But it's a means to an end. If you have to play for the B team, is part of your evolution to be ready for the A team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I wouldn't see anything wrong if I was a player.
But I think, I don't know. Maybe,
especially coming off a 3-month stoppage.
I could completely be reading this wrong, but I think these kids, and you see a lot of the kids coming from that side of the world, they come with the positive attitude, ready to
They're a lot more humble than South Americans.
I don't see these guys. No, I don't know. I didn't say South Americans. I just said other people. All right, I'm not sitting.
They're more humble than half our young guys on the B team that we have that come
Dave,
from Portugal. Never mind South America.
Dave, they're not getting to Benfica and saying this is a trampoline.
But we already spoke about some of those players on the B team that are already treating the team like a trampoline. They don't want to re-sign their contract. They want to get paid.
Moreira's one.
You rather have Gil Diaz on the bench?
Gil Diaz a crack. Hey, be careful.
Oliveira.
When you talk about Gil Diaz.
Gil Diaz. I don't know what Gil Diaz is past his expiration date.
Gil Diaz should be bringing the balls to training.
Gil Diaz might be your best left back. Listen, come
on, bro.
Red Baron says supposedly Shut Up is having 3 practices a day at Seychelles.
Yes.
Both of them should be having 3 practices a day.
Absolutely. I know. What's the other one doing?
Which other one?
Gangster.
He's doing the 3 practices, both of them.
You, Red Baron, these guys so Shut Up.
Maybe Shut Up needs more work.
Nah, listen, I think that these guys, I have high expectations for the 2 of them, more so for Shut Up than I do for Gangster. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a little tricky to get these guys acclimated. I don't think it's going to be as easy as you guys. And if it is, I'll come here on the podcast and I'll say I was wrong. But I think these guys,
once they're ready, they'll be good,
I
man.
think they would benefit from possibly
Yeah.
playing a couple games on the beach. I don't think it'll hurt.
100%.
And I think they have the right attitude. I don't think these guys are prima donnas like we see with the rest of our chop kids on the B team and stuff like that. These guys that get promoted to the B team and all of a sudden they're thinking that they're the next ones to go to Barcelona.
Yeah.
I think Sheldrup, if he wanted to go to bigger teams, he would have gone. I mean, obviously, he turned down, apparently, right, the allegedly, the rumors that he turned down the likes of Liverpool and whatever. If he had that right, if he had that mentality, I don't think he'd be at Benfica right now. He understands that he's going to come here to work and get better so he get to the next level.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Dave, thoughts and stats on the game so we can move on.
No, it was overall, you get those quick goals right at the beginning, and it allows you to play calm and play your game the rest of the way. So it's always better for the club and for the supporters when we get those goals right early in the match. But to wrap up the game here, Arshness with his first goal as a Benfica player.
What a pass, Dave. What a pass.
That was from Enzo. Was it not?
What a ball from Enzo.
No, that's right. Ramos, another goal for his tally this season, up to 18, 12 in the league, still ahead of, still top of the league for scoring. Gedge returns to Benfica since January 2017 and scores on his return. And with the first half of the season now complete, Benfica's in first place with a 4-point lead ahead of Braga. Not a positive stat, but you can twist it however way you want it. Last time Benfica were first place at the halfway point was in 2019, 2020. But they blew the 7-point lead at that time around, but Dave, this year.
Did you know? This is Benfica's third best start to the first half of the season on this.
Who's feeding you that?
I know for a fact. Number 1,
I saw that.
Bruno Lage. Number 2,
JJ was number 2.
Number 2, JJ. And now, how many points we got now?
40.
Okay, so I thought it was a little more, but whatever. So Bruno Lage, number 1. I know. I think it's 43, Dave. That's fodido.
Is it 42?
Yeah, I think Bruno Lage finished with 46. JJ 44.
40 was last week.
If I'm not mistaken. And now Roger Schmidt with 43.
43 or 44, Dave?
44.
Yeah, 44.
Okay, then it's 45, whatever.
44, pá.
Não, mas então o JJ tinha um a mais.
JJ.
His second best start. The best start ever was that one that Dave alluded to.
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple slip-ups. We had that slip-up in Guimarães that we should have never had. The Braga
Should
game.
never had. We got lucky. We came with 1 point.
Yeah, I mean, we should have never had that slip-up.
That was off international break, though, right? Players were rusty here.
The Braga game, that's another anomaly, but we'll get a chance to redeem ourselves. But at the turn, I don't know a Benfica fan that is not happy with the way this team has progressed through the season. Roger Schmidt's first year, some new players. Obviously, there was a lot of expectation in terms of the fan base on what Benfica would have been able to do this first year for Roger Schmidt. But certainly, I think that everybody's happy with the way the Benfica has managed this first half of the season.
I have another question for you guys regarding this game.
Another question?
Yeah, I got it. Dude,
O gajo hoje está com muitas
I
perguntas.
got a lot of questions. Got another question. Were you guys
He's auditioning for CMTV.
surprised or did you guys expect it, right? And when I asked that, were you surprised that Morato got the call over Verissimo?
Yeah. No, I'm not surprised.
You're not surprised.
No.
Dave?
No.
No, we saw earlier in the season that it seems like Schmidt has Moratu.
Well, I mean, at the
Over,
beginning of the season, Dave, Verissimo wasn't ready.
Morata's fit, dude. Verissimo is nowhere
Verissimo was out,
fitness
Dave.
level of Verissimo.
You remember at the
Morata.
time, him and João Vitor got hurt against Boca, and this guy, Verissimo was only ready in December, beginning of December, late November.
Yeah.
So Morata was doing his thing in August and September until he got injured.
Yeah.
You?
I'm not surprised because it was on the left side to replace Otamendi. I do think that in the long run, I think Verissimo is going to overtake Morato on the depth chart.
Yeah, I mean, if he could get to the fitness level, right now he doesn't look like he has the same fitness level as Morato.
I don't know if you guys agree with me or not.
But Verissimo is also a right-footed
Yes,
center back.
Correct.
Which would be... but Morato's naturally left-footed.
naturally left foot. Yeah, that's his natural position there. I'm not
What
as
does that mean? I mean, come on, for Christ's sake. What? Why don't you
He's a left-footed center back.
flatter me with this answer? What's Otamendi's preferred foot? What's his best foot?
Experience
Again.
trumps that.
Forget the. I'm asking a question.
He's a righty.
Okay, where does he play? On the left, bro.
Yeah, and
Tu
he
és
also
bom,
plays
tu
on
és bom.
Tu és bom. I agree. No, I agree with that 100%.
Okay.
But what I'm saying, as you know, there's very few left-footed center backs
Yes, there's very few.
in the game, and when you find one, now I'll say this: I'm not, and you know this, Chris, because we talk about it. I'm not as high on Morato as you are. I do like him. I think since he's had his injury, I think he hasn't been the same.
Yeah.
I think you guys agree.
You
And
lost a little bit of that momentum.
I mean,
of
and it
confidence.
seems like every time Morato plays, and to his credit, not against Santa Clara. Against Santa Clara, he was very steady. But you always have one of those turnover or two,
Yep.
right? That shaky back pass or that shaky build from the back.
that
that he
against
turns-
Studio that ended up
yeah.
costing us the Taça da Liga knockout round.
I think he's got to clean that up in his game. But again, he's still young. I'm just not as high on him as Chris is, for example.
Pedro Oresta says Verissimo has been out for 28 months. Nuno M says he's not surprised. He likes referring to, I guess, Roger Schmidt. He likes left-footed player on the left side unless he doesn't have the option. Red Baron says, no, not surprised. The way he only made one change, Verissimo would have to play in the right, and Antonio Silva would have moved to the left. And lastly, Brian
Which
P.
is
says,
fine. He
I
played in the
wouldn't
World
mind
Cup.
selling Lucas Verissimo
the
next
left.
season. An ACL tear is a killer.
Yeah. No, and it was it you that was saying that or no, it was somebody. I think it was Baquero. Baquero was talking to somebody in Brazil about Verissimo before Verissimo joined Benfica, and that person told him, good player, but has a lot of injury issues, injury prone.
I think it was me.
It was you? I don't know if it was you or Baquero.
Well, he was healthy, though. He was brilliant last season. I think we could all agree on that.
While he was healthy, he's brilliant. But, yeah, obviously he's got, hit with the injury bug. It's unfortunate because he was at the top of his game. The guy was getting called up to the Brazilian national team, missed the World Cup. We never like to see a player miss out on that opportunity. But, hey, man, listen, like I tell you, Alfredo, what I always say, big boy soccer.
Yep.
Next one up. Let's go. Keep it moving. O nosso Ruivon dizia, o cavalo passa a porta todos. And look, it came by Antonio Silva. It came by Murato. I thought Murato was absolutely phenomenal before tearing his tendons or ligaments in his ankle. Hasn't been the same player since. Yes, Hugo makes a valid point. There are some miscues. O gajo parece que anda a passear, some of his back passes. But
Às vezes para-lhe o cérebro.
if that's what it is, that's fine because physically, in terms of physicality,
He's there.
that he might be Benfica's best defender in terms of physicality. Yeah. He's got the whole package. Now, yes, he has lapses in games at times that make you scratch your head. But, look, he's still a young player. Let's not forget, he's only 22. He's relatively young. I think he's proved. He's proved to all of us that he can play at this level. Sad to see what's going on with Verissimo. But, look, right now Benfica do have 3 other options that they could throw out there at all times. Otamendi, Murato, Antonio Silva, rotate the 3, and you're fine, which gives Verissimo that luxury, that extra added time to recover, to hopefully get back to his physical form, to his tip-top form. Therefore, the pressure is not mounted on the guy, and he could just, be himself and do his thing.
Yeah. Next up for Benfica, P.Ferreira. Benfica will travel up north to the Capital do Móvel to play P.Ferreira. A game that was scheduled for the 20th round, but has been moved forward as a result of Taça da Liga games being played this weekend. And since Benfica is not involved, Benfica kindly asked P.Ferreira if they could bring forward the game to clear up some of the schedule that they're going to have with the Champions League games. And P.Ferreira, I guess they
weren't too thrilled at first.
They weren't too thrilled, but
they weren't too thrilled.
Throw a couple Bifanas and Sagres in there, and let's make that deal. Look,
Ferreira with the former Benfica player coach, second time.
Yeah,
back,
and
Cesar Peixoto. I thought it'd be a little.
Yeah,
easier.
It's funny because Cesar Peixoto was their coach in the beginning of the season.
He got fired, and then he came back.
Got fired.
Yes.
Then they brought another guy.
And he got fired.
And then he got fired. And
Mota.
they figured,
What's his name? Mota.
And they said, well, since we're still paying Cesar Peixoto until the end of the season, might as well bring him back.
Yeah. I mean,
only in Portugal.
The truth is,
the
truth is that nobody wanted to touch that job because they're in last place, they're relegation, but whatever. I'll tell you that story off the air.
Cesar Peixoto already got paid for the job, so he might as well finish it. Look, I like P.Ferreira. I like os Castores. You know what I like?
Cidade do Móvel.
Capital do Móvel.
That's the one I'm talking
about. I love their social media posts, the videos with the Castor, whatever you call that thing.
Castrator. What?
Castor. The beaver.
A beaver, yeah.
Oh, that's a Castor.
The beaver.
Yeah, because Castor, they eat wood.
Is that what it is?
I guess beavers eat wood. Wood, right? And since they build móveis, what's móveis made out of? Wood.
Wow, Chris.
I don't know.
You learned a lot here.
I gotta hand it to you.
Chris putting 2 and 2 together.
I gotta hand it to him.
Because
coming up with 5.
I didn't even know there was beavers in Portugal. So that goes to show you.
Why wouldn't there be beavers in Portugal?
Well, you act like there's lions. Are there lions in Portugal besides the ones neighbors?
There's no lions in like other parts of the world, though.
Exactly, but there's no beavers in
Beaver is a very common animal.
Eu nunca vi na minha terra. In all my terras, I never seen one.
I was gonna ask you which terra you talking
I never seen one in. Dave, have you ever seen a beaver?
I've seen him in Canada, but not in Portugal.
Yeah, exactly. See, Dave?
Yeah, but that's because you're from that island, Dave. They don't have beavers in the island.
Yeah, they do, bro.
They have big beavers?
That's how the island was created. They put all the wood together, and then that's how it became an island.
Dave, you're a Suriano?
I've got parts. I'm from all over the place. I got a grandfather from Azores. I got a grandmother from Madeira, and I got my father from the mainland. So
nice.
I'm all over the place.
They met on a fishing trip, the grandparents.
I could go run for prime minister and get all regions to vote for me.
There you go.
O avô dele foi ao bacalhau and he met his grandmother in Madeira.
Dave, what's P.Ferreira up to this year?
Yeah, as you guys alluded to, not too hot this season. Currently in dead last with 6 points from 1 win, 3 draws, 13 defeats in 17 games this season. League worst offense, only 10 goals scored this season. League worst defense, 13. What do we got? 32 conceded this season. Historically, 47 wins, 5 draws, 4 defeats. Benfica have beaten Passos 15 out of the last 16 meetings, going 15 wins, 1 draw during that spell. And the last time Passos beat Benfica came January 26, 2015. So if I'm not mistaken, that's going to fall the exact same day that we play them, January 26th of this year. So hopefully not shades of a defeat, and we put them away and get the 3 points here.
Yeah. Hugo, any concern that this might be your classic trap game? Playing against last team place, bringing a schedule forward?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be a trap game. And if you've been watching the last 2 to 3 games, they won a game recently, and they only lost to Braga in the 98th minute just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
With 5 extra players.
Correct.
Against 5 extra.
Against 5 extra players, exactly. But yeah, it could be a trap game. And listen, they have some talented players. I don't know, Dave, is Gaitan playing on Thursday?
Gaitan played against Braga.
He did. So,
he should be available.
So there you go. That's one to watch as well.
Yeah, but he's going to pull what the Porto players do. He's going to pull an injury before the game.
See,
like Andre.
Or miss a penalty.
Funny you mentioned that. It's weird how everyone's professional when it comes to Benfica.
Andre didn't take
which,
his,
again, I don't mind.
I don't mind. The pill before the game, so I didn't
But yeah,
feel
surprisingly, Andre couldn't play against the groups there. But not to get off topic, yeah, it could definitely be a trap game. But I think this Schmidt side is aware of. I think by now he's aware of everything that Portugal has to throw at him, and you add now that depth that we have on the bench with Getch coming, and again, I anticipate us to win that game, but it's not going to be a cakewalk.
Let's go. I got some more questions.
Go ahead.
We need to get.
Are you watching the chat, dude?
Yeah, but they just. I mean, this guy Nuno says Canada's better than USA, so he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about.
Because of the Beavers.
But there's Beavers in USA too, bro.
There's tons of Beavers in the USA.
Mean, there's plenty. I seen a bunch of them today when I went to get bagels.
You know that you need.
Listen, I got questions. First, we need predict a score line because we have a guest on the podcast today, so we need to get his on record. Number 2, what's the starting 4? Forget about everybody else. Give me the start up top. Top 4, starting 4 up top.
When everyone's healthy?
I think Getz.
Thursday, bro. Thursday.
Getz plays, man.
No, I don't. I'm asking. Predict. Give me a prediction for the score, and give me a starting 4 up top.
I'm gonna say 4-0. 4-0, and up top the front 3 or the front 4.
4. That's what I said.
Front 4. Gramus, Gedge, João Mário, and Auschwitz.
Ramos, Gedge, and Auschwitz. No, Ramos, Gedge, João Mário.
Gedge, João Mário, and Auschwitz.
So okay. Dave, andiamo.
You gotta go with that lineup. I don't think Neres is healthy enough yet to do to make the starting lineup. So
you drop Draxler and insert Gedge.
Yeah.
Okay. Prediction
2-0 Benfica.
Fala Barato.
No, I agree with Dave and Alfredo. I think it's going to be Gedge, Auschwitz, João Mário, and Ramos as well. And my score prediction is 3-0.
Okay, my turn?
Yeah.
But I want to go 5-0 just to be different because you picked my 4-0. But I was going to say, we're going to see a surprise. We're going to see Peter Musa starting up top. No, but I'm going to go 4. We're going to see Peter Musa go up top just a surprise to give Ramos a little breather. But then they won't get to 5, so I got to switch my score.
Well, somebody wrote 1-1 in the group.
Oh, noon.
Rating Entertainment
I think it's going to be a closer game. It's not going to be it's away from Estádio da Luz and
4-0.
I think it's going to be a closer game.
Ramos, João Mário, Gedge, and Neres is what Rating Entertainment is saying the front 4 will be. That's not a bad call either.
So he dropping
Auschness.
Auschness.
Yeah,
Here's a question. Do you drop Florentino and play Auschness? Because Florentino is the Portuguese player in the world with the most minutes played.
No.
In the world?
In the world.
I wouldn't.
More than Ronaldo?
What Ronaldo? What Ronaldo? Ronaldo anda a correr con camelos. Yo. Who? Maybe Florentino gets a breather.
I don't think you need to give him a breather because the next game is only next Wednesday.
Yeah, it's
a big gap in between games.
So why play Thursday? Why not play like Saturday?
Because Saturday is the League Cup final.
Oh, pá, foda.
E a televisão quer
It's not like all the
CMTV quer estar
Benfiquistas.
focada lá na taça da cerveja.
All right, I'm saying 4-0.
4-0. Okay.
In my top four,
I'd like to. Nuno says 1-1. I'd like to hear that reasoning. Is it a trap game? Is it a classic trap game for you, Nuno? And you think that Benfica is going to struggle to penetrate the Cesar Peixoto-led team?
Nuno on the passada cabeça.
On the Passada, I don't know. Some guys have good reasoning.
Nuno said
it could
Canada's better than USA. We came top of qualifying. Canada, let's go. Oh yeah, in terms of
raining it, put a bunch of camel,
the camel
emojis.
That's Ronaldo. But yeah, I mean, on to the next topic.
Now everybody's carrying the Arabian League.
Agora is number one.
What a
bro.
joke, right? What a joke.
The Ronaldo
What a
effect.
joke.
Serious, man.
Must watch.
I'd rather watch that game that they play with the Stones in Canada than
They
watch.
had a 2. Oh, by the way, shout out to our Portuguese stoners. What do they call it? What is it? Dave, your friends, you went with them.
The
What
curlers, not the stoners.
Stoners.
Give them a shout out. What's their name, Dave?
You know.
Oh God.
You know their
The
name.
Sixeros.
The Sixeros.
Seixeiro.
Sid.
Yeah.
No, there's
not
not
Sid.
Not Sid.
Sid's cousin.
Gail.
Gail.
The Sixero, Gail,
Sixero-
April, and
Sixer-
Steve.
That's right. April and Steve.
We got to get Sid and his brother on the podcast, but
We've already gotten his brother on.
I know, but he don't want to. I followed him. He never followed me back. He's lucky. I like him. I still follow him, or else I
He
delete
said
him.
he's reached his quota of followers, so he doesn't follow anyone.
We got to get him back on the podcast.
Sure.
I mean, these Canadians now, they're all of a sudden into soccer.
Raining says that I think they win 6-1. There you go.
Ali,
Nuno is
Nuno's-
saying classic trap game.
Yeah, Gaetano will haunt us.
Well, I don't know, man.
O Gaetano tinha pernas para Red Bulls na MLS.
He's still got the touch, but he's not the player that he was once before, as you guys know.
No, I mean, it's look, and to be brutally honest with you guys, all jokes aside now, it's, in a way for me at least, it's sad to see a guy with his resume and what he meant to us Benfiquistas and Argentina national team and whatnot, and now he's playing at P.Ferreira for a few coins a month. I mean,
There's a guy that's playing at Al Nassr.
yeah, but he's playing for a lot of coins a month. That dude's playing for 500 million of them. You know what I'm saying? So totally different. But yeah, Gaetan hopefully does not.
Just guys that love the game, man.
Yeah, he does.
I think it's a combination of his
Go
love
back
for
and
the
play
game.
home. Go back home and play.
Why?
Play at Boca. Play at Independiente.
I think
Vélez.
he's comfortable with Portugal. You know what I mean?
For $60,000
and I
a
could
year,
see
bro.
a guy like that settling in Portugal or Spain. So he's already right there. I think that has to do
for
with it.
60 or 70,000 euros a year, bro. Really?
Ele já
That's
tem
what that guy
muito.
used to make a week.
He's got a lot already.
Need it, man.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't need it. I think he does it for a combo of love and where it is. I think he's comfortable in
With the
Portugal.
country, probably.
And he said it publicly.
His
as
wife
well.
has had a kid here. You know, they're happy with the country. You know, so they're good, man. I respect Gaetan because
I'm a big fan.
He's been able. He's been a professional through and through. He's been able to come back. You know, so on and so forth, and do what he loves, which is play football. Anyway, ins and outs.
We got a new segment?
No, it's
I
just you know.
you mean in the roster?
Yeah.
I thought it was a new segment, bro.
Ins and outs. You know, we're going to be doing that throughout this winter transfer season.
We got to bring back my Chicken Fingers Award.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that.
Dave slacked off. He never mentioned
Dave
it again, and I
slacked
forgot.
off. Yeah, you're the one
That's
that's
it.
supposed to come up with the award every
Yeah, but
week.
if you don't ask me about it, I don't have to answer.
Dave don't have to about it. He'd be a hell of an adjunct to Reining Entertainment.
I agree.
Talking about with Caetan.
Esquece tudo. Gaetan tem muita classe para ser adjunto, pá.
Yeah,
O gajo Gaetan is like Simão, upstairs, gravata e fatinho.
yeah. So confirmed, Henrique Araújo gone to the championship in England, playing for Watford. What do you guys think about that? Let's start with Hugo, because I think I already know your opinion, Chris.
I was a bit surprised. I mean, Chris knows that I'm high on Henrique Araújo. I think he's gonna have a bright future for Benfica. I think again Schmidt was clear about that as well when he was explaining the loan. Unfortunately, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but I think we're capped out on our loans domestically, or else I think I would have liked to have seen him on loan somewhere domestically, maybe like a Guimarães.
You got one more spot. You left one spot open in the beginning of the season
For
on
Gil
purpose.
Diaz.
I think I would have preferred to see him loaned domestically, maybe to a Vitória or some club of that caliber. So I don't hate the move. I guess I was just a little bit surprised to see Musa overtake him in the depth charts. I think that's unfair. I think highly of Araújo. I'm higher on him than Chris, for example. But I think it'll be good for him to get some minutes. I think they included a clause that he's got to play in 75% of the games or something like that. I think that was like a bargaining chip for Benfica. Like, hey, yeah, we'll send him there, but you guys got to play him in three-quarter of the game.
They didn't get it. Benfica tried to put that in, but they...
I think they would have to pay us $1 million if he didn't.
They tried to get that clause.
To get in was a bonus in the event that they got promoted.
Promotion.
No, first they tried to do that. He had to. No, they went to that. Then they said no, and then they tried to do the 75% of gain. They said no, and like, okay, just take him. Let's just. So it came down to.
I'm sure they included something in that again, because if he's not going to play, then there's no reason to loan him out to Watford.
Bro,
and did you guys hear?
But
did you guys hear?
Got a good history of developing these young players too. So I'm not. I'd rather him go to Watford than a Guimarães, just on the Watford model. They've got a good young team there, and they're in the playoff hunt there to get promoted.
That's
so
great.
If he's getting some minutes here,
He'll play, man.
I have no issues with it. And I'm with you there, Hugo. I thought he had at the beginning of the season a chance to overpass Gonçalo Ramos to have that main striker
At least
position,
Musa.
but
Past Musa.
I watched him play
Yeah,
a
at
game,
least-
Dave. I watched him play a game. Man, you can finish your point. I watched him play a game, and I told this knucklehead to my right. I said to him, "There's something about the kid that I don't like." And he's complaining, how Hugo gets loud and obnoxious, as I do at times. And he's telling me the kid's great and this, and I'm just looking, nobody's disputing his quality. It's just his intensity. And I know it seems like...
he's a natural finisher.
Sometimes you see the guy and he's a killer, but in that game, it seemed like he was going through the motions. And I think Roger Schmidt picked up on that. Because in order to play for the likes of Roger Schmidt, you got to be intensive. You got to be... pressing. You got to be we've seen Gonçalo Ramos all over the pitch, and I think he lacked that. And I think that's the reason why he fell down the pecking order, Dave.
That's fine, right? And as long as he doesn't take it personally and to heart and gets burned and never wants to come back to the club, that's my only concern here. As long as he's on board with this loan spell and treating it as a way to develop and further his skills. Because we've seen in other times when we loan out these up and coming prospects, sometimes they never make it back to the club and they're out for a $1 or $2 million signing, and I would hate to see that with Araújo, but I don't mind this Watford loan here.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think it's the right step because it's not the high pressure you would have going to an English club in the top tier. I mean,
but Alfred, they have pressure to
get promoted, but it's
so there'll be pressure there.
I think it fits them because it's physical.
But
the championship is very physical and competitive.
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna ask. And again, I got a lot of questions, but if
he doesn't have that intensity you were just talking about before,
how is he in a championship? You gotta have.
I'll see. Maybe it was the move that said, look. Here's what you need to bring to the table in order to compete at this level, at the championship level, and you need to carry or bring back that same level of intensity at Benfica.
Red Baron says not many teams in Portugal can afford his salary, so therefore that's probably why he thinks he moved over. Reigning entertainment. Once again, I see Watford getting promoted, then falling in love and using their TV money to buy him from us, which is, hey, it is what it is.
There's no clause.
Pedro Aresta parece jogador lento, não se mata para agarrar a bola e comer a relva.
I don't agree with that. That last assessment. But
No,
time will tell.
We have seen a little
There's
bit
no question of his quality.
I think he's a natural finisher.
He's a natural finisher. I think that what's probably weighing heavy on his mind is the fact that he probably feels that he should be ahead of Musa at this point, and he's not.
But then work for it.
Maybe there's a little bit of demoralizing
factor
on him.
I don't think it has anything to do with work, Chris. I think it has to do with you paid $5 million for this guy, and you're trying to see. You know what I mean? I don't think it has anything to do with work.
I can make
and Henrique's the future anyway.
Hugo, I can make the argument.
There's no rush.
Well, now you got gangster.
But I can make the argument,
and that as well.
I can make the argument, Hugo, that they paid $5 million for this guy, but the guy that they've been preparing, their jewel, right, that they've been polishing, that the rough diamond, was supposed to be Rouge. He's the next guy to go out. So I mean, in terms of development, who do you think they're gonna want to develop?
Yeah, but he will be.
I can make the argument in both ways. I don't know.
He's only 21.
It will be.
Just turned 21
Even
2 or 3 days ago.
Rui Costa went to play the year at FAF.
Yeah, you can't read anything into that. And
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and I hope he does well. And I think
next year he's your striker. What do you think? I think Ramos goes.
Gangsta, bro.
But here's the other thing that I want to look that I'll argue, right? I'd much rather see him on a team that's fighting to be promoted than to be at a Portuguese team that all they do is defend.
Yes, but dude, again, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I'm not disputing what you guys are saying. But Alfredo, what you're saying makes sense in a perfect world. If he's going to Watford and he's playing,
I think he'll play.
If he doesn't play, who gives a shit what they're competing for?
As at Watford? João
Ferreira, right?
João Ferreira.
Yep.
Yeah, he just left.
Just scored on the weekend.
What, Guimarães? Was it Guimarães? What was he in Portugal before that?
I don't know if he was at Guimarães.
I don't know. No, it wasn't Guimarães. It was he was in Portugal and he got sold from somebody. He was.
Well, he was on another. That's another loan spot that we
was it
cleared up.
Marítimo?
Was it Marítimo?
No, I don't think it was Marítimo.
No.
Dave, look him up, Dave.
Might have been
Real
Rio.
quick.
Rio.
Yeah, João Vitor. Speaking about João Vitor apparently is going to Rennes. Rennes, right?
Nantes.
Nantes. Sorry.
Nantes.
Nantes. Yeah. So I mean, what do you guys think of that? I mean, obviously he's not playing. He's not going to play at Benfica now with that many. I mean, he's even below Brooks.
No, for this.
He's not below Brooks?
No.
Pecking order?
No, he was because again, you guys have to remember that was an asinine signing by Benfica at the time.
It wasn't asinine. Oh, asinine was João Vitor or Brooks?
João Vitor.
Oh, okay.
João Vitor was an asinine because you went ahead and you purchased this guy. You come to an agreement. You send a private jet to Buenos Aires only for the guy to get hurt. Why would they let this guy play another game?
I would have aborted the transfer.
That's it. I mean, once the guy tears his ligaments.
Papers signed.
So, but why?
Yeah,
I mean,
but there's gotta
like
be.
I understand Enzo. Enzo was supposed to be one of these players that was going to come in and change shit. João Vitor, was he that desperate of a need, that desperate of a signing, that we had to come to an agreement?
I mean,
think
think
spend $10 million bucks
but
on
think about
someone.
the context.
Uh-huh.
When Benfica went and
I
got
get
João
it.
Vitor, Antonio Silva was nowhere
Yeah,
to be
he
found.
didn't exist.
What if I tell you this? It's just me, my little theory. All the rumors in Portugal started swirling that our neighbors from up north were going to sign him up. And maybe that...
Sign who? Vitor?
João Vitor. And maybe that...
It's possible.
Push Benfica
They don't have any money.
I agree with Chris.
They don't have
I
20.
think
They spent 20 a week later on freaking the kid, David Carmo.
I think that had a lot to do. That had a lot to do with us
I don't know.
stepping in for
I
João
question
Vitor.
that deal. David Carmo, especially that clause that every time but the Porto
No,
was
but tá bem,
champion,
but I
the
think-
Braga gets...
But on paper it's there. It's 20 mil. So they had to figure it out.
Yeah.
But again, look, I hope that he goes out. He gets his rhythm back, and if he's anything close to what Benfica thought they were getting, come back and help this team. Because there's going to be moves. Every single year there's moves. You know, at the end of the year, if Antonio Silva keeps playing the way he's been playing, Sharks are going to come swirling around. We don't know what's going on with Otamendi. He's a free agent. As of right now, he could sign with any club, right? We don't know if he's coming back.
Please renew.
So right now, I mean, we're sitting here with a bunch of options, but come July, the coach might decide that Verissimo is not an option. Antonio Silva gets sold. Otamendi decides to go back to River, and the only thing you got on your roster is Morato and João Vitor. So I mean, things will change. But look, we just hope that
you got the other kid, Araújo also.
he got loaned out.
Mazaraújo. He's at Gil Vicente.
He got loaned out.
Yeah. Helton Milk to Turkey. According to Roger Schmidt, he wanted to play, no longer wanted to be a
good riddance.
Hey, yo, and I tell you, I was talking to my boy that works for Go TV and or Fubu. He works for both.
Nino?
No, Bruno. And he did the play-by-play of the Turkish league, and he called me at halftime. He's like, bro, this dude was playing against Galatasaray. This dude just made 2 saves out of this world, bro.
Oh, Milk?
Yeah, Helton Milk. I guess he played really well in his first game.
Oh, I didn't even know he had played already.
Yeah, he got there, and the next day he started.
That's beautiful.
Against Galatasaray in the big derby, and apparently, I don't know what the result of the game was, but apparently in the first half he made 2 saves out of this world.
I never liked him. I never understood why we signed him. Never. I remember having debates with my buddy here to the left. He was higher on him than on Odysseus, and I just But that's old news, right? Yeah. Right, buddy?
It's not old news, bro. I still contend, and I'll forever contend that Helton Late is the type of goalkeeper in terms of characteristics that Benfica wants to sign. Now, was he very good at those things? Probably not. But did he fit the criteria? Was he what Benfica hopes and what Benfica had molded throughout their farm system? Yes, absolutely. Now, was he very good? No, obviously he's committed his mistakes, and so did Vlaco. But Vlaco, credit to him, turned things around, and he regained that starting spot. But again, I still contend Benfica is still searching for a goalkeeper, a guy that can play with his feet, a guy that can come out for crosses, a guy that catches cross, that knows how to open game. And Vlaco Dimos, whether you like it or not, he's not very good in that department.
Holy shit. Talking about goalies coming out, that whole Ramsdale play, that reminded me of Vlaco Dimos.
Oh, the other day?
Yeah.
Arsenal top of the table, baby.
I just think we got bigger problems on the squad than I'm not a massive Odysseus guy either, but eu acho que não é por aí. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I get
there's
it.
more,
but
there's a lot more
dude, you
things
guys
to worry about.
Stop being so small-minded, because again, that Vlaco Dimos, believe it or not, bro, and you should know this. Vlaco Dimos, the way he plays affects the way Benfica wants to play. Whether he's giving up a beat or not, whether there's bigger problems, which at this point, what's the bigger problem? What's the bigger problem? What do we need on this team? Maybe a backup left back? That's it? What do you need on this team? There aren't bigger problems. There just aren't. So, and plus, you're in love with Ba. So, the problems aren't there. Okay? So, this guy impacts the way that Benfica plays a lot more than you think. You just have to watch the game, understand football to see. You have to sit there and pay attention to what Vlaco Dimos does. Forget everything else around the game. Pay attention.
I just told you, in a perfect world.
But you just said there's bigger problem. What's the bigger problem at Benfica?
There was until we signed Guedes.
There was.
Não tínhamos extremo para abrir abre-latas.
Que data é hoje? What's today's date?
Hoje
Dave, help me out.
24th.
We're talking about today. We're not talking a week ago. Today we're doing the podcast today. And you just finished saying that there's bigger problems.
You don't have an alternative for Grimaldo.
You don't need it. The guy's playing off the hook.
Ristic doesn't play.
He hasn't proved it.
He doesn't play.
Why do you need Ristic when you got Gil Diaz? Come on.
Come on. Anyway, it's just my stance. In a perfect world, I'm not a massive Vlaco guy either, but I think he's. I think the guy gets a lot of unfair criticism. Let's just leave it at that. This is my opinion.
Watch him play.
I don't know.
Watch him play each week. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. What else? Something that Chris alluded to already earlier on. Tomáš Tavares signed for Spartak Moscow. Another player off of Benfica's books. That's what's up. But a left back. But a left back that showed a lot of promise and perhaps is
right
rise
back,
and
back.
is
right back. You talk about Nuno Tavares as the left back. This is Tomáš Tavares, the puffy head one. This is the guy on the right.
At the same
time. They all came up. Nuno Tavares is now playing at Lyon. No, Marseille.
And
he's on loan from Arsenal.
No, but the thing is that perhaps a premature call-up to the A team when these kids had a lot of potential.
He made his debut in the Champions League,
remember? Never gave him time. He didn't even play one game for the B team.
No, he did. He played like 18. Remember Elder former captain, center back of Benfica, coach of Seychelles.
Mas Tavares never played for the B team. I don't
Maybe
think.
no, I thought he played a few games. You're probably right. I thought he played a
it's
few
saying
games.
there's at least 2 appearances before he was
I
called
thought
up,
he
if
played a
not
couple
3.
games.
Yeah.
But Elder said
80.
with Ruben Diaz and even in
80 was the magic number.
80 was the magic number before we determined that these kids are ready to go to the next level. And all of a sudden that year we sold. I just mentioned it before: Smith, Lindelof, Ederson, Mitroglou, and all of a sudden we started. The only signing we did that, you know what was?
Who was it?
€6 million.
I don't know.
Which
Harris. Go ahead, Dave. Harris.
Was it 6 million or was it a free?
6.
No, Harris. I thought he was a
I
free.
think it was like you give him a signing bonus, come out to 6. It was Harris. No, I think it came out to like $6.
Those were those were the glory days when we would rotate players in the champion. I mean,
But that's when
Showcase.
That's when Andre Almeida was at the top of his game. The dude was like Donny Alves.
That's when he scored that.
that's
that
speaking
wonder goal.
of the devil. Did he rescind yet? Fucking
Dude,
guy,
nobody wants. Who's gonna
man.
want
Get
him?
that bum out of there,
Yeah.
man. I can't even look at his mustache anymore.
Maybe he could go play in
That guy bothers
Estoril
me.
with Pizzi and reunite together.
How do you
Yeah,
know
go
this?
with
How
his boy Veríssimo.
Yeah.
So he clearly doesn't care about playing, right? He's just collecting a paycheck at this point. Because if he still wanted to play, then he would push the contract being rescinded. But he's there for a payday.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, guys. He's making a good 800, 900,000 probably, most likely.
I think more.
But let's just say 800. And he rescinds and he goes and plays Estoril, as Alfredo mentioned. The guy in the top of the wage chart, Estoril, is making like 80,000. I mean, do you want to go from 800 to, I mean, do you blame him? He's living in Lisbon, chileando. He goes into Seychelles every day.
He probably has realized that his best years have come and gone. He's probably not at the level he could of a team that he would accept play for.
I heard from a really reliable bird. Really reliable bird.
Twitter?
No, I said a bird. Twitter is a bird, though. But, yeah, chirping bird. But, no, it's just a regular un papagayo. How's that? A papagayo. I heard from a reliable papagayo that Almeida was looking to see if there was any interest in teams any interest in him from teams in the MLS.
Why can't he play for the B team?
Oh,
He can.
Maybe he's got hold on. Maybe
He can play for the B team.
Time out. There's Andre Almeida, whether we like him or not, and we know he's not the great. But as I mentioned before, multiple times here on the podcast, we can sit here and bash the guy we want. Andre Almeida is part of a group of 6 guys in the history of Benfica that won 3.
3, more than that. More than 3.
What's the 3? What's the one?
The Tetra.
The Tetra. He's one of 6 players in the history of Benfica that won a Tetra. And with that, it brings
Certain prestige.
No, but it brings a certain statuto with it, and he was team captain. What I'm saying, where I'm insinuating, where I'm heading to is that in some cases, I'm not saying that's the case with Andre Almeida, I'm not sure, I can't confirm. But in some cases, it comes to a point, as we talked about Schaldrup before, right? When guys renew a contract, he's got that statuto, he renews, bro, I'm a first-team player. Right? Maybe. There are contracts with guys that I'm right? You know,
but the fact that he's not even talking to Shisha.
But if his contract is his first team, they can't force him to go down to the B team.
You're right, but Silvestre Varela plays for Porto B.
Yeah, no, but he signed for Porto B.
Yeah,
That's a total. See, Andre Almeida renewed his contract. We don't know with what what's the word? Stipulations? What is it?
Stipulations.
Stipulations.
Clauses.
No, we don't know with what stipulations, right? I said stipulation. It was close. But Varela, when he signed, he clearly came back on a Porto B deal because the guy wants the Tashu. He wants to eventually coach Porto B. Maybe he wants to be a coach.
Well, his Tasha's running out June.
Butter.
It's running out in June.
Oh, in June is over?
Yeah.
So maybe
He's done.
He's right.
No, but he could go into who?
Andre Almeida's done in June. No matter what.
I was talking about Varela.
He's writing it out. Let him write that out.
Yeah, now he might rescind. He might tell Benfica, "You owe me 400. I'll take 2, and I'll go play a studio."
Write it out till the end of the season.
Because normally that's how it comes with this rescinding.
Ask Roger Smith to. he's already played this year, right?
No, not in the league.
No.
Oh, but in the League Cup he played, I think,
Uh,
or the Portuguese Cup.
let me see.
He started the game.
there was one game that he got in
he made the bench one game, but he hasn't made any.
in any competition,
the,
Dave.
I think you're wrong, Dave.
No.
Maybe. Oh, I know what it was. Those games that we played during the World Cup, those warm-up games, that's where he played.
Yeah.
That's where he played.
Yeah.
No, he didn't play. He made the bench, but he never
No,
played.
Dave.
He played against Sevilla. I remember him playing against Sevilla
Yep. He
Oh.
played against.
in that
those games.
that tune-up.
Yep.
Capitão.
Capito.
I know he was the captain. Yes, sir.
Imagine
But those
going
games
into a locker room these last few seasons, and that's the guy wearing the armband. And now flash now, and you have Nico Otamendi.
But,
Look,
but,
Where,
but
I
Dave,
mean-
Dave,
Well,
I mean,
that's where everything.
above-
It's just
going wrong
night
with this
and
club.
day.
Above his locker, he's got the most trophies above his name.
Dude,
the pictures of the trophies, that's the dude
Tho-
that has the most trophies.
not even close. On that team, there's nobody close. And again, we don't like him, but as I said, epa, respeitinho pro homem.
I just thought
He helped us. Hey, look, he's a bum, but he helped us win.
gonna
with
run it
for
out.
me, he was never. That was always one head scratcher for me. Like for me, never
Dude,
Benfica caliber.
Candidate to the Puskas Award.
Does Gedge have the trophies?
No,
from,
Getz is only there
his
2
previous
years.
season?
Yeah, he's only there 2 years though, Dave.
Gets
Yeah, but
gets
I know,
won
but
3
does he
leagues,
have-
bro.
Does he come back to the trophies? Do they put trophies on
Of
his?
course. As long as he
as
won
long-
them
I,
under.
I think no. Roger Schmidt actually did away with that in the beginning of the
longer-
season.
no
It's no longer. No.
Everybody's an equal.
Everybody's equal. Yeah.
Makes sense. I haven't
one of
visited
his-
the locker room, so I couldn't
Either
tell
that,
you.
or it was getting a pretty thin locker room with guys that had won trophies with the club. So he probably said scrap
Yeah,
it.
That's true. The shit just looks bad.
they're the only ones with medals.
Medals.
Hey, Chris, your boy Gilles Diaz on his way out or what?
Hope
I
not.
hope so, fellas.
Drive him to the airport.
No,
Somebody there.
Gilles
Where's
Diaz
Baquer?
crack,
Baquer, take him to the airport.
Hey,
crack,
put Gilles Diaz on a B.
crack. No, he don't-
Crack.
he's gonna go over there. They're gonna
They-
win the
Definitely
league.
got a stipulation.
Ele é craque por água nos copos.
Crias lá tatu.
I think he would be helpful for the B team.
Yo, he's a crack, bro. He's a crack.
Or nos
Not
matraca.
everybody that gets the Benfica squad need it.
Nos matracas.
Respeitinho.
That's the truth. Let's close this thing up. But before we close, just a word for the Benfica women who played Sporting in the Portuguese Cup, the female Portuguese Cup, and beat Sporting convincingly. I think it was a 4-0.
5.
5-0.
Your dad was at the.
No, he was not. At a record he was supposed to go, but he ended up not going. Record attendance at Stadio Luz. As a matter of fact, that game had more people in the
It
stands
was the
than
third most
than
attended
the
game in
Sporting game
Portugal
that weekend.
that week. But the Sporting play at home or on the road
Home.
At home.
against who?
Foi com o Vizela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, Varandas bans all the all the ultra.
It was also a Friday night fixture, so that might have.
Friday
might have
night they
an
go to the disco after.
Nobody's.
But
Nobody's
that's a Mickey Mouse club anyway.
convinced about this Sporting. As a matter of fact, when I was in Portugal, I spoke to all my Sporting friends. None of them really had. As a matter of fact, they thought they were going to get beat heavily by Benfica because Sporting has been so Mr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde this season. So never know what Sporting is going to show up. They almost lost today.
Before we wrap up,
Voila.
between now and next Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever we do the next podcast.
Yeah.
What's next Tuesday or Wednesday? Let me see real
What?
quick.
This video data.
Yes.
It's 7 days from now. The
Oh, shit.
31st.
Is it 31st? So between now and next, by the time we do the next podcast, right?
Obviously, guys, because
Is Enzo Fernandez still a Benfica player?
sure.
Yes.
I hope so.
Okay. So sure, yes, I hope so. I'm with you, Dave. I hope so, but it ain't over till the fat lady sings.
I just don't see anyone hitting.
It's a lot
I'm-
of coin, bro. It's a lot of coin.
Think about how bad Rui Costa would look now if they give in and negotiate. I mean, after president, coach, everybody at that club has
No,
publicly
it's
come
gotta-
out and
it's gotta be
said
the max.
it's
It's
and
gotta
that
be the-
and there's only one club that would hit it, and they've been spending money up to.
Bro,
I just don't see it.
Yeah,
No.
financial fair play doesn't exist for them.
No,
I
they
don't know
do, but
how,
they
but-
come around it. They go around. They spread it out with the immortalization of contracts throughout 8 years,
you
and
know,
yada yada yada.
I
And they
was-
pay
But
up.
then look, you have Juventus there gets docked 15 points.
No, but did you see what Juventus did?
That's something different.
Juventus made the players sign an agreement that they would take a 20% pay cut right? For example, I think it was 15 or 20%. But they were still getting their full wages on the side, which is illegal because that what they did, because as you know, Juventus is in the stock market, as is Benfica.
Yeah,
so
it's
they
a
cooked the
publicly
books.
traded.
They cooked the books. So
Yeah.
in terms of profits, it was showing one thing. But come on, bro. Look, credit to them, credit to the Italian authorities. If it is indeed the case that Juventus was cooking the books and yada yada yada, hey, good for them. Portuguese authorities don't have the culhões to come down on these on these huge clubs. Slap them on the wrist. In Italy, they do it. And obviously, Juventus has been relegated once before. And it might just so happen now. I mean, from what I hear, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of the corruption of everything that they had going on behind the scenes, and a lot to do. A lot of this stuff was set into place because of the whole Cristiano Ronaldo acquisition. So, we'll see what happens with Juve. But I think Benfica. I've told Hugo this, and I've told Alfredo, I think, a couple of times as well. It's very difficult for a Portuguese team to reject 100 million. And as much as I like Enzo, if Chelsea was coming in with 100 million plus 2 players or whatever, look, it's something that we seriously have to consider. And I for one, I speak for myself, I for one would not hold it against Rui Costa if he were to sell Enzo not at the stipulated 120. I would be okay with that. I understand.
You would think a minimum of 100.
102 players? Absolutely.
102 players or just 100?
100 and a player.
I did think that that deal that was on the table, well, according to the press, what was it, 100 plus Ziyech?
85.
90.
90 plus Ziyech and another. I would have taken that deal. What I'm saying is, after the club has publicly come out multiple times, right, and stated that this player will not leave unless that clause gets hit, I think now in these final days of the window, if you let him go,
but dude, they have to negotiate publicly. They look at the end of the day, it's uma praça. Estás a vender o peixe, and you say there's dollars a libra, and you take 6, but you have to announce it.
E depois não é só isso, é que já não há tempo na janela to go out and get a reliable replacement.
Well,
now we know Auschnitz can slip into that role.
But it's not, no.
Okay, but what if Auschnitz gets hurt? You get what I'm saying? You're always going to need another body and a good body, not just no.
But dude, that's why I said 2 players, and 2, if you guys recall before, I said at the beginning of January, just get it over and done with, because the sooner you do it, the more time is left in the window to go ahead and reinforce the rest of the roster.
Yeah. That's all we got for you this week. Thank you to all the Freddies that were following it and supporting us in the chat. We appreciate that immensely. Thank you also to Hugo for joining us today live and not being on a chat. Amandala Rashish.
Hope you enjoy it, buddy. You ain't coming back. No.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yep. Dave, pleasure as always. We'll be back next Tuesday. Recap this P.Ferreira game and look ahead to Aroca. Aroca is who we got next. And then we got Portuguese Cup, no? Against Braga. Yeah. Right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And Champions League also.
February.
Yep. Tight February coming up. We'll discuss that in our next podcast. Thank you very much. Thank you to all the Freddies. Stay well. Be nice to each other. Take care of each other. Later.